The match has finished. Thank goodness for that. The match has finished. Fulham won. West Ham United won. We stole it. We stole a point at the end. We did not deserve a point. Just in case any Fulham fans watching this, very, very impressed with the Fulham team. Not very impressed with the West Ham team. We'll deal with some of the more detailed stuff about the direction of the club and the tactics we appear to be using going forward. We'll deal with that in other videos, but I'm just going to deal with a sort of match review here. And it is entirely that. It's just a review of the game that I've just watched, endures. So I think the starting lineup probably surprised a lot of people. Maybe there were a few people it didn't surprise. Maybe there were a few people who would have said, hold on, it's exactly what you're going to get. The starting lineup may have surprised a few people, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. I think there were a few of us that were shocked to see no playmaker in central midfield or even in the central area at all. I think Tony Gale, listening to his commentary, was certainly surprised to find that was the case as well. And it was pretty much as bad as we're used to seeing it, although we weren't shipping loads and loads of goals at the back, which is a blessing. And I guess in that sense, it kept us in the game and allowed us to snatch a goal at the end of the game. But it was bad. It was very, very poor indeed. Mikel Antonio playing up front on his own. We tend not to play him generally if he's always very, very bad, isn't he? If he's gone away on international duty. Flew out to Jamaica, then from there went to Honduras, didn't get back until very, very late or early, whichever way you want to call it, on Thursday. And he's had basically half a training session. He looked jet-lagged, he looked knackered, he looked devoid of any sort of touch. There was no surprise. Look, we're not surprised. Maybe Lopetegui's going to have to learn that the hard way, and hopefully now he's learnt that. But this inclusion coupled with that of Thomas Souček, who was pretty much played as a number 10, it killed us. It really did kill us in the first half because we were better. I was going to say significantly better, but rein myself in. We were better in the second half than in the first half. But it was poor, there's no doubt about it. All the things that we'd already seen so far in this campaign certainly turned out to be true. And it was that Jarrod Bowen seems to start the games under Lopetegui in the 5 games we've seen so far very quietly indeed, and tends to come into the game later on. Mohamed Kudus gets stuck out on that left-hand side and basically gets demoralised and see any sort of real chemistry from him and Emerson. The irony is Emerson went off injured. I saw more chemistry between Emerson and Crescencio Somerville in the 5 minutes they played together than we saw in the rest of the game, but between the other two. I've got no criticism of Mohamed Kudus, by the way. He fought so hard to try and protect Emerson, who was being given a torrid time by Adama Traore. I think the thing that was different between this and the other games was that in the other games we had some players who were playing well. Kilman was playing really well. Wan-Bissaka was playing really well, and we had some sort of semblance of some sort of decent players within it. I think it's fair to say we had our moments in this game, but not many, like 2 or 3. By and large, all the West Ham players played badly today, and that's what I'm talking about in terms of discussions for another day as to why that might happen. Bearing in mind we've just had a break and Lopetegui's had a lot of time on the training pitch. Granted, not with everybody, but certainly with enough of the players that we shouldn't have seen the performance that we saw today. Lopetegui recognised the error of his ways very, very quickly. At half time, and that for that I'm thankful. That certainly wasn't the case always over the last 2 or 3 years, and he brought on Somerville and he brought on Paqueta at half time, which I was quite surprised about. Souček and of course Antonio both went off. They were the right choices, by the way, and immediately our passing game improved. It wasn't brilliant, but we did have a passing game in midfield once Paqueta came on. And that was good. That was a good thing because we didn't really have a passing game of any note before that, which was really weird that we would try and take on this Fulham side with an unbalanced team, because Fulham were full of balance. They really, really did, and they've got some individuals who are really, really well up to speed. And the obvious there's some obvious ones to pick out, like Traore, who caused us bother all game. But in Anthony Robinson, they got somebody we just couldn't get the better of, throughout the game, irrespective of who he was up against, and things sort of switched around really. And it was, initially it was Bowen, then Kudus went over there, Somerville went over there for a little bit as well. I mean, he had to contend on a couple of occasions with Wan-Bissaka going down there. Not so much actually. Aaron Wan-Bissaka didn't really start bombing forward until the second half, because obviously he had somebody who would drop deep in Lucas Paquetá and play some passes, and we can get some 1-2s going. But it was Soufal later on. It didn't seem to matter. Robinson did pretty damn well, and I think it's it's quite ironic really that our equalising goal came from that side of the pitch. But I think just all round you saw duels being won by Fulham players in this game. Pick any area of the pitch, and I'll show you a Fulham player basically winning the duels. And Bassi at centre back was a colossus, I thought, sort of throughout the game, but not the sort. I don't want to give the impression that we were sort of banging down the door of Fulham's defence, and there was some sort of miraculous rearguard action from Bassi, who was keeping us at bay. We didn't attack, and we did not attack well. And as I say, we were better in the second half, but it's hard to make any case that West Ham were a better team. We weren't. Fulham were loads better than us in the first half. I'm not sure we had a shot on target in the first half. You'd have to check the stats yourself, but they were a little bit better than us in the second half. But they were absolutely the best team. But I've got to say, it's not all negative. There were a couple of positive things, not many. I mean, it's not easy to get points away from home. Let's say that, and we backed that up with a win against Chelsea, and that point looks very good. But we were lucky to get that point. We absolutely were lucky to get that point, and probably Fulham should have snatched a win at the end of the game. I think it's only fair to say that. Fulham probably should have had a penalty as well, with Max Kilman sort of a bit clumsy on Adama Traore. Adama Traore, probably did run across him, but we've seen that before. We've seen the type of things that players do, and it wasn't anything as obvious as Anthony Gordon did against us when we played Newcastle. It was clumsy stuff from Kilman, but you know what? He was far from the worst culprit. Their goal that they scored was pretty horrendous from Konstantinos Mavropanos, who's been really good at the start of the season. First of all, he was out of sync for the offside trap, and then when he realised that he had played Fulham onside, his reaction to get back, and I think it was Smith Rowe, to close down Smith Rowe, was terrible. He didn't really have any reaction. There was no urgency. So, in my estimations, Mavropanos made 2 errors in the build-up to their goal. I think Kilman won't be thrilled with the way that Jimenez managed to get the wrong side of him and sort of managed to lose his marker there. But yeah, I think by and large that goal's pretty much on Mavropanos. Whether that will have any bearing in the future with Twibo breathing down his neck, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. As I say, was a very muted Aaron Wan-Bissaka, particularly in the first half. Emerson was having a torrid time. We had the, as you might like to call it, a double pivot of Rodriguez and Edson Alvarez. It was tough. It was tough for both of them, really, because I don't think they were helped by the tactics. I don't particularly want to go too heavily on either one of those. I think it's a big ask to ask people just to sit in front of the back four and then not give them an outlet where someone can drop in and, like Paquetá did in the second half, and actually take the ball off them and allow some passing angles to happen. It was bad. I mean, Souček up front was bad. He had one shot, high, mighty, high, wide and handsome. I think the worrying thing was when there were a couple of times that a ball was played over to him. He wasn't able to get to it. A couple of times, because you're playing at number 10, you're going to drift around the pitch, aren't you? You're going to pop up in, slight wide positions, deep positions. Anytime he was asked to do that, he looked clumsy, it looked bad. We didn't look to be playing to his strengths, funnily enough, which was quite odd. And just overall, West Ham were disjointed, completely and utterly disjointed. I'll get to the good bit, don't worry. I'll put it on the thumbnail, because it was, Danny Ings rescued us. There's no doubt about that at all. And well done, Fanny Stings. Annie Dings, brilliant, honestly. Really, really good. I'm so pleased. I think I spent half the summer wondering why he hadn't gone, and he wanted to stay. He wanted to stay at West Ham, and you know what? For just even if it's just for that point, I'm certainly glad that he did. I should probably mention, Crescencio Somerville came on, looked sharp for a little bit, and then faded. I didn't see much of him for the second half, but again, it's hard to apportion any sort of blame on any individuals, really. It just, the team collectively was not good today at all. And I, as I say, it's a topic for another day, maybe a topic for tomorrow. Not sure what we're trying to do at all. In terms of those tactics, that was weird to go in like that and for them not to work. Great, didn't work, changed it, but it was weird to decide to go in like that. There was a lot wrong, and for a man that professes to have watched West Ham a lot last season, I'm slightly concerned about how little Julen Lopetegui seems to know about the previous West Ham. But, you know, look, we got some fight back. He kept on making changes. He brought Carlos Soler on. He was lucky not to get sent off for 2 yellows. I'd love to sit here and tell you lots of good stuff about him, but that's it. That's all I've got to say about him at this point. We'll need to look and have a different look at him. The goal itself, fair play. Jarrod Bowen, he didn't even. Look, he started off on the right. He went into the middle. He looked better in the middle. He was unlucky not to score with Kudus played the ball into him. First touch was brilliant. I mean, he can do that. He has a wonderful first touch sometimes, Bowen, and his first touch put him into a wonderful position. And he, you know, he shot against the goalkeeper. It was a nice move, and it was. Well, up until that point, it was the best we were going to see at Bowen in the game. But he never gave up. He never stopped chasing lost causes, and that was to be the case that he did when he retrieved the ball, which I didn't think anything was going to come of this move. But he managed to get hold of the ball on the right-hand side in more of his traditional position, as you'd expect, because Danny Ings was on the pitch by this point, and he managed to pull the ball back. And Danny Ings was a great first touch again. And the first touch took him into space. In many respects, it wasn't dissimilar to what Bowen had tried to do earlier, but it was a little bit further out. So he had a little bit more space and he had a little bit more distance to place his shot. Beautiful first touch, put the ball into space, went round the other side of the player and dispatched a really, really neat striker's clinical finish. It was excellent striker play. Excellent striker play. It's absolutely what he can do. And it was great to see. It really was. It was a massive relief at the end. I certainly had no inclination, no desire to jump on this video and start tearing apart what was a very, very bad West Ham performance. And it's too early days to be looking at the league position, but it doesn't look too. It wouldn't have looked too healthy. Let's put it that way. It's another point, you know, which is really good. We're going to need to see a bit more, I think, and that's what I'll be discussing over the next day or two. But actually, a point away from home isn't bad, particularly against a team that are better than us. And I'm sorry to say, they are. And I don't say that in hindsight. I said it before the game. I said I thought they were very impressed. They had a lot of balance. The draw. I said in the preview, I said this is the order that I think the results are going. Most likely is a draw. If we don't draw, Fulham will win. The least likely, I said this in the preview, the least likely result is a West Ham win. So in that sense, from a result point of view, I saw nothing that surprised me. I just don't think we don't really look a team at the moment, and that's obviously what Lopetegui's going to have to do. I do wonder if he's going to drop some of his ideas maybe now, and because we could have told him some of this stuff doesn't work, and you know I think he's probably finding out the hard way. Look, as I often say, perhaps not on this channel, but as I often say, that some people learn from the advice of others. Some people have to learn from their mistakes, and some people never bloody learn. And I think hopefully Lopetegui is just going to have to learn from his own mistakes rather than what West Ham did last season. But you know what? At the end of the day, that was a relief. That was a relief. Well done, Annie Dings. Brilliant, great finishing. Well done, never say die attitude from Jarrod Bowen. I guess good that the manager, you know, made the changes. That's good. But it was bloody awful. Really, really bad performance. We didn't win the game. We didn't deserve to win the game. We got a draw. We probably didn't deserve to draw. that's as honest, really, as I can be. I think we need to see a little bit more, but that gives us some breathing space. Play like that against Chelsea, pick that team against Chelsea that he started with, and they'll hammer us. They really, really will. He's going to need to sort something out. It'll be really interesting to see what he does between now and the next game. No excuses now. He's got a week on the training pitch with all his players. None excuses that the players are off. No, on international duty or anything like that. He's got a week on the training pitch to get a system, to get a formation together, and to get a group of players in the starting lineup who are ready and able to receive his ideas and implement them on the football pitch. We need to see a lot better. That's for sure. Anyway, there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think I sort of know what you're going to think. I'm pretty sure it won't be too far removed from what I was saying, that it was... I thought Fulham were a better team. Let me know what you think in the comments.